Rachel Zegler in the last few years has been surrounded in more than just a fair share of controversy, from her antics of saying that she represented the Puerto Ricans in West Side Story to the latest PR disaster that she has become. And believe me, she is a PR disaster. Now, a lot of people say this is because she is young and that she has to learn. But really, by the age of 23 years old, she really should know better by now. Rachel, from the very beginning of her PR interviews with Snow White, made it very clear on her stance on the original animated classic that saved the Disney company. Her casting was always going to be controversial anyway because she is part Latina and therefore did not actually meet the description of Snow White in any way, shape, or form, which is what a lot of people pointed out in the very beginning because it sets up a lot of the premise for the actual story. Had she actually, though, just stuck to her script and kept quiet and not bashed the original movie, then maybe people might actually want to see it. Who knows, really? Trailers are getting ratioed into oblivion, and, well, tickets are hardly selling like hotcakes, but more on that later. People are constantly reminded of her stance, and let me just remind you that her stance around the 1937 film, well, it wasn't that modern, to be honest. She said it was being reimagined for audiences. She was not going to fall in love with the prince, and that the animated film, well, had definitely been made in the 1930s, and it was evidently so. She also said that the prince was a stalker, that Andrew Burnap's scenes could all get cut. By the way, he is a great dude, and that's Hollywood, baby. She said she didn't like the original animated movie, and she found the Snow White ride in the Disney parks terrifying and not suitable for children. It's very clear that she's not getting on with her co-star Gal Gadot, and she also said when the certain president of the United States won the election that she wished that the people who voted for him would never know peace. How kind, how tolerant. Why is it when news like this pops up, it's always associated with the name Rachel? I really must change my name, but I wouldn't know what I would change it to. Hello and welcome back to Chat About It, Don't Shout About It with me, Rachel, the Queen of the Woke, which was crowned by one of my haters for really no reason at all. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, switch on the notification bells, which will let you know when I am releasing another video. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed already. I could not run this channel without you. Pre-sales have actually started now for the upcoming movie for Snow White. They're not exactly plugging it. I said ages ago when I did some earlier videos on Snow White on this channel, which I have covered from the very beginning, that they would never ever put it onto Disney Plus, because if they did so, they would lose, essentially. And lo and behold, I was right. They had a couple of successful movies in the theatre last year, I believe it was, and they've done a complete 180, and they are no longer releasing long-form content onto Disney Plus. They are focusing on short-form. And the reason why is because long-form on there does not benefit them. But we could have actually told them that in the beginning when they were launching it. In fact, actually, no, we did tell them. We're going to take a look at an article from That Part Place. All articles, of course, naturally, are linked in the description below, and we'll have a look at some pre-sales at the Leicester Square Odeon Cinema in London as well to see what it's up to there. Disney scales back Snow White US premiere, no traditional red carpet media interviews allowed. So it got scaled back. Why am I not surprised by this? It got cancelled here in the UK, and I believe that she went on a heavily moderated PR tour in Japan. I've seen some video clips from it, and she sang with the Seiyu over there. Seiyu is the Japanese voice artist, and they actually have a very, very big following over there. But I haven't really seen her do much else. Let's carry on with the article. With just days to go before the release of its live-action Snow White remake, Disney is drastically reducing its usual Hollywood premiere spectacle. The studio is still hosting an event on March 15th at the El Capitan Theatre, but it won't include the extensive red carpet and media presence typically associated with a major Disney release. Instead, only photographers and a house crew will be allowed to cover the event, with no traditional press interviews taking place. What's the button that this is happening? Because she goes off script completely, and she just says whatever she feels like. She is one of those people who speaks before she thinks, and I know those types of people very well because when I was a child and a teenager, I used to do that as well, and it used to get me into a lot of trouble. It wasn't until I turned about 18 or 19 that I started to actually rein it in and think about what I was actually saying. And then I tried to moderate that and be a little bit kinder. I am quite blunt, but hopefully nowadays I present things much more fairly. However, one thing that I wouldn't have done when I was doing my training or my stage school is run my mouth off in interviews or anything like that. I did as I was told, okay? Disney has not commented on this shift, but even Variety acknowledges that this decision comes amid ongoing controversy surrounding the film. The move follows months of backlash and marketing missteps, making it clear that Disney is playing defense as the film nears its March 21st theatrical release. A premiere unlike other Disney films. In the past, Disney has gone all out for live action remakes with elaborate red carpet events, numerous interviews, and a media blitz to build hype. The decision to scale back this aspect of Snow White signals a lack of confidence in the film's reception. Captain America Brave New World, despite concerns over its potential box office performance, still had a high-profile rollout. Yet with Snow White, Disney is seemingly keeping things low-key. That's a move that only raises more questions about the film's prospects. Rachel Zegler remains absent from US media. The premiere downgrades aligns with Disney's broader approach to limiting Snow White's exposure. As we previously reported, lead actress Rachel Zegler has been notably absent from American press appearances. Instead, Disney sent her on a scripted and highly controlled press tour in Japan, where she was unlikely to face tough questions about her past comments on the film's creative direction. Notice how they didn't mention Gal Gadot there, so she can just say whatever she likes. Yes, okay, so she was very unlikely to actually have those types of questions. I lived in Japan. I lived there for 5 years. And the reason why it was highly unlikely is because the Japanese don't like getting embarrassed. They call it hazagashi. But they also really, truly despise confrontation. They'll do it if they have to, but they really hate it. So out of all the places where she's not likely to be questioned for her controversial remarks, Japan was definitely one of them, although I'm not surprised that it was still under heavy control. This is a stark contrast to how Disney promotes its other high-profile films. Usually the lead star is front and center in talk shows, interviews, and press junkets leading up to the release. The decision to keep Zegler largely away from the American media suggests the studio is trying to prevent further controversy, which makes total and complete sense. You can actually tell when she has a certain script to follow because you'll keep repeating the same things over and over, and you can tell when she goes off script. This is how we ended up with the weird meme that we have now. She realized what she had done, but it was too late. She couldn't backtrack on it. And the thing is, the press is also notorious for trying to corner people for past controversial remarks or ask for their political stances. They tried to bring up things like toxic fandom, and they try to find a way to put people in a corner. For the most part, though, for Rachel Zegler, prior to what we actually have at the moment, well, there wasn't anything that needed any prompting from the press. So now she is likely very much going to be heavily controlled PR-wise. And it wouldn't surprise me if Disney actually employed someone from PR to control her speech. The apology that she made on her Instagram account after she said what she said about the current president of the United States, never knowing peace, that was a PR apology. Those were not her words. Didn't sound like her. She was told to put it out. I don't know what damage this is going to do to her career. It may mean that for the time being that she'll have to lie low, maybe go and do some supporting lady work, which I actually don't think will harm her at all in that respect. Maybe learn how to work within the industry and work with it, not against the fans though. She's going to have to undergo a lot of PR training or not work at all, one or the other. And that will be the only option and ultimatum, I guess, that they would actually give her. The article also goes on to talk about awards, and it talks about Rachel Zegler's past comments, which I've already discussed on this video. But the article is linked below should you wish to go and read the fuller details for yourself. Now I'm going to carry on with the next part. Box office expectations remain grim. Despite the reduced premiere event, Disney still hopes Snow White can pull in strong numbers. However, industry estimates remain unimpressive, with projections placing its opening weekend between $48 million and $58 million. If these numbers hold, it would rank among Disney's lowest live-action opening in recent years. Those reports are abysmal. However, by reporting it this low, well, they are obviously expecting to make a loss on it. However, if the film in its opening weekend rakes in, I don't know, say 60 million, then they would say, oh, that is a success. Well, of course, against those projections, it would be. Now, I'm sure that this will probably do better internationally, because not every country is going to be exposed to what's been happening and what's going on with this particular movie, be it Rachel Zegler's comments, Gal Gadot, the dwarves. They're not going to be exposed to all of that. I know a friend of mine who is going to see it. He's not followed any of the controversy surrounding Rachel, Gal, dwarves, the changes in the film, and I said to him, please let me know what you actually think of it, because he will be straight up and honest with me. He's not good at lying, so he'll just tell me the truth, and he has agreed to do that. He won't come on this channel though, but just so you know, well, he'll feed back to me anyway. This will struggle to break even. Actually, no, why did I say maybe? It will struggle to break even. We will have access to the tax filing for this because our tax files are public for companies, and it would be interesting to see how much they have spent. Adding to concerns, the film's presence in key theatres is much smaller than expected. At Disney Springs AMC in Orlando, a venue on Walt Disney World property known for showcasing Disney films prominently, Snow White is only being allocated a handful of screens. This limited theatrical rollout suggests Disney isn't expecting a surge of demand, even if its own backyard theatre. What this means for Snow White and Disney's future. Scaling back a Hollywood premiere is not something Disney does lightly. This decision, combined with Zegler's limited press appearances and the film's underwhelming box office projections, paints a clear picture. Disney is trying to minimize damage. This latest move reinforces the ongoing struggles of Disney's live-action remakes. Once seen as easy box office wins, these films were no longer guaranteed success. If Snow White underperforms as expected, it could force Disney to rethink its approach to these remakes. Well, it would make them rethink the approach to the remakes. It probably has already, making them think that they're probably thinking, let's go back to what we do best, animation. They may even get their funding pulled. So we're not having a UK premiere. First one that we've not had a premiere for in a very long time, which is unusual, okay? Because we normally showcase a premiere like this, especially for Disney. So let's have a look at Odeon in Leicester Square. Our premieres generally take place in Leicester Square. Other places that house the premieres in London are View, Cineworld, and the Odeon in the West End, but the most common one is Odeon in Leicester Square. There doesn't seem to be a pre-release for this one, and they've also got something called the Black Forest, which is a family getaway of some description to celebrate the release of Snow White. Interesting. I probably will not go with that, but immerse yourself in Dolby. Experience cinema with Dolby's cutting edge audio. So they're doing Dolby. Okay, so it releases here on the UK on the 21st of March. And if we click to book now, let's see what we get. Okay, so today is the 11th of March. The tickets, I believe, were released. Ooh, was it yesterday or the day before? I can't remember now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 at this time of recording. 18 seats have gone. Now, they were not, clearly, they're not expecting to sell massive amounts of tickets, because if we were expecting massive amounts of tickets to be sold, there would be more screenings here, for sure. There would definitely be more screenings. Then we've got the 4:31, so we look at this one. And this is on a Friday, so we'll take a look at Saturday in a moment. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You would expect these two, if it was going to be really popular, sell like hotcakes with the pre-released, but it just doesn't seem to be. I would expect it to be sold out now. This is Leicester Square, so this is the evening performance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So a bit more on this one. That's a plus for them, I guess you could say. So that's what they've sold so far on the opening day. And let's see what the Saturday is doing, because Saturday is generally busier, and this is Leicester Square as well. And I don't know if anyone's been to Leicester Square, but I've worked in and around London. I've done a lot of training in London, and Leicester Square is busy, super busy. And it's also, you know, part of Soho, essentially, part of London's performing circuit, so to speak. So you would think that this would have sold out a little bit more. Right, let's have a look. Oh dear. Not great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. They're probably expecting this woke backlash that they keep going on about here in the UK. Even though the UK is completely woke. It is, straight up. I don't like being full on woke. I don't like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, so it's telling you a lot. Like, if this was going to be an exceptionally popular film, then a lot of these seats would have been gone already. Oh, look, Andrew Burnap's name there. Great dude. Looks like he hasn't been cut. Well, I hope he hasn't been cut. So that's what the sales are looking at this current time of recording. They're going to be lucky if they make any back on this at all. Let me know what you think. Chat about it, don't chat about it. Like, share, subscribe to the channel, switch on the notification bells so that you know I am releasing another video. Thank you to all of you who have watched, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.